Hello, in this video we're going to talk through this solution for question 6 here, which is write an equation for each parabola. So if we're given the graph of a parabola and we need to find the equation, the first thing to do is to decide which form we're going to use. There are three forms for a parabola. There's standard form, vertex form, and factored form. Choosing the best form to use given what information we have will make the question much easier to do. So generally speaking, if we have the vertex, we're going to use vertex form. If we have the x-intercepts, we're going to use factored form. We typically don't use standard form to find the equation of a parabola, though we can if we wanted to. So if I take a look at my first example here, I notice that this parabola opens up and it has a vertex at 4, 0. So if I write out vertex form, I substitute in 4, 0. And of course, plus 0 has no impact on the question or the statement, so I'm just going to remove it in the next line. So now we have an equation, but we need to calculate a. To find a, we're going to pick one point on that curve and substitute it in. And it's very important here not to substitute in the vertex. Though substituting the vertex in mathematically is fine, what ends up happening is we end up multiplying a by 0 and it goes away. So therefore you can't actually solve it. So a kind of rule to keep in the back of your head is that if you're working with vertex form, never substitute in the vertex to find a. If you're working with factored form, never substitute in an x-intercept to find a. So we work through our calculations here. There's our substitution. We've simplified the brackets. We've squared the -2. And a is 1, which is excellent because this should be a positive a value because it opens up. So therefore y equals x minus 4 squared. So let's take a second and look at how we would do this if we use factored form. If we use factored form, what we would do is we would set it up as follows, and we'd notice it has what's called a repeated root. Since the root is repeated, we're going to write it out twice. So a times x minus 4 times x minus 4. And of course that can be written as a times x minus 4 squared, which you might notice now is the exact same form as vertex form. So really, if we continued the question from this point on, we would be doing the same thing. So when the vertex lands on the x-intercept, we have what's called a repeated root. And it doesn't actually matter which form we use. Let's take a look at the next question, B. So here I notice the parabola opens down, so a should be negative, and the vertex is at -3, 0. So I take vertex form, I substitute in my vertex, and again this plus 0 at the end is not necessary, so I remove it. And now I substitute in a point, and I choose the point -1, 4, -1, -4, and I work through my calculations and I get a is -1. And therefore y is equal to negative bracket x plus 3 squared. I hope that video helped. Have a wonderful day.